Hello everyone, it's Melinda here with CatSmashPuzzles, and today we are doing the 2025 World's Individual Final Puzzle. This is Puzzle Community by Ravensburger, 500 pieces, and I am joined here by Miss Bun. She's joining us on this episode today. So, I'm super excited to be doing this one. I kind of had that same euphoria feeling when I did the Tiger Family and Oasis for the 2024 Worlds, and kind of figure out how I would have ended in Worlds. Then at that time, and I think I was like 120th place or something like that. I was not in the top 50, which is my goal. I would like to be in the top 50 for this puzzle, which means I have to be faster than 53 minutes and 49 seconds. That's the cutoff there. Now, first place was Veronica at 39 minutes and 44 seconds, followed closely in second place by Victor, who did this in 40 minutes and 20 seconds. And so this puzzle is much harder because they were getting in the 30s. Victor was getting in the 20-minute ranges. So this puzzle is definitely on the harder end. And unfortunately, it is not my strength either because there's a lot of random colors. There's a lot of black, which means I would have to shape sort, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But if the Paris gradient puzzle was any indication, this is not going to be an easy puzzle for me. So I guess my two goals, under an hour, under 52 minutes, are there, but my real goal is to be under 53 minutes and 49 seconds to be in the top 50. My USA JPA team member, Shay, was in the finals, and she got 47th place, and she actually did this in just over the 53-minute mark, so she is a little bit faster than me, so I do think that I will, if I were to predict this puzzle, it would probably be about 57 minutes. I do think I'll get under the hour, but probably not that 50th place mark is where I would like to land, but we will have to see. There were 182 finalists that participated in this round, and only 7 did not finish. And you had an hour and 15 minutes to finish it. Now, while my goal is the top 50, you're probably wondering, well, don't you try to shoot for the top 10, top 20? In the nationals, Zoom competitions, yes, but for Worlds, I do recognize there's a lot more faster puzzlers than me, and I don't think I'm quite at that top tier level. I'm in the top tier, but not, I'm at the bottom of the top tier. So I know there's this gap between me and them. So top 50, I would be pretty happy about getting. And so I do think that's where I'm going to land with this one. The top 20 for this puzzle got under 50 minutes, and I'm going to have a hard time getting this one under 50 minutes. It may happen. I may surprise myself, but I don't think it's going to end up that way. So that's my goal, to be under 53 minutes and 49 seconds to be in the top 50 for Worlds. Real quick, I will go over my results at the end of the video, but I will also go over the pairs puzzles. One of the semi-qualifying round puzzles I did with Christina, one I did with Melinda, and then me and Christina did the final pairs puzzle as well, and I will tell you about our rankings for that. So, as for this puzzle, let's smash it. that did not go the way I thought it would. I knew it was going to be a difficult puzzle, but 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 12 seconds was my final time for Puzzle Community by Ravensburger. I did forget to mention the artist on this one. Her name was Jean Julian, and she actually designed this. So, always want to mention the artist when I can. But I really... Okay, I guess I'll just kind of go step by step about what happened with this puzzle. First off, my beginning started sort of strong. I started sorting and flipping the pieces sort of the border. And then I just started doing the puzzle, which I think was a mistake. And I think about at the beginning part, I was slow, trying to figure it out, trying to look at the image a little bit, trying to see where everything was. And I just kept running into false fits or false, I don't know what it was, but it was just like, because the colors were like people's shirts, they had like lines this way, and it wasn't quite all connected like a very big section of a puzzle would be normally. Like with the Paris gradient, the yellow sun was all in one section. I could put all those pieces together rather quickly. But like the bright yellow shirt guy here, he was kind of straight out way, it was straight out, and then the puzzle piece kind of interfered with his yellow shirt. So it was just, the colors were all over the place for me, and it was very distracting for the shapes, and therefore I think I was getting a little confused in a lot of places. I did speed up in the middle, and that's where I felt like my confidence kind of hit it a little bit. I got most of the border put away. I started figuring out where all the faces were, and so that started to come together rather quickly. The blue little world here in the middle came together rather quickly, but once I got to the black, I really did slow down. And I made the mistake of looking at my timer, thinking I was in the 50-minute range, and I was just over the hour mark, and I got dejected, and that didn't help my ending either. And then I ended up having to shape sort at the very end with the black pieces, which was okay until I got to just the two-prong pieces, and for whatever reason I kept misplacing the same pieces over and over again. So a lot of things went wrong with this puzzle. I think I still would have done better in person, just because I would have had the energy and the competition environment around me. But I've had a few tough ones lately, and I think this is just one of them. So, a quick pickup test here. Ravensburger tends to stay together very well, as you can see. So, where would this have put me? 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 12 seconds. One, I did finish the puzzle in the designated time of 1 hour and 15 minutes, so I wouldn't have had to count any pieces, thankfully. I was a little worried about that towards the end, but I've never not finished a puzzle within the time frame, so that was actually an interesting possibility for me on here. So that would have gotten me 166th place out of 182 finalists. So yeah, towards the bottom, unfortunately. I could have done better, but I think this puzzle just does not go to my strengths, and in fact I think it goes to a slight weakness of mine, and that unfortunately showed with my results. I wasn't a big fan of this puzzle, I'll be frightfully honest with you. I was hoping to at least enjoy it, but, I didn't hate it. There's been puzzles I've hated. This is not one of them I hated, but I don't know. I would have been very upset if I'd gotten this actually at Worlds if I'd gone, so maybe I'm glad I didn't go this year. Hopefully it's a random pick-and-place puzzle for finals next year, or the year after. What does that tell me what I need to do to practice to get to Worlds, even Nationals in March? It does tell me that I really need to pick up the pace at the beginning. I need to really stick with a strategy that works better for me. I keep kind of changing strategies, and I think that's really hurting my end results. I have the speed to put the puzzle together, I just don't have I don't have the speed or the strategy that's working for me at the beginning to get that puzzle put together quickly. So I'm making it up at the end, but I'm not doing a very good job to set myself up for success, per se. So that is the results of what I would have gotten in the finals if I had gone to Worlds this year in September. So real quick, me and Christina did do some of the pair puzzles from Worlds. We did Frida Kahlo, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, I apologize. Blooming, which was one of the semi-qualifying puzzles, and we did that in 40 minutes and 6 seconds, which actually was kind of slow for us. We tend to stick around the 30 to 35 minute mark, and we were just, I don't know, I think the whole day we were doing these puzzles, we were a bit tired. We were practicing for the Spooktacular, and, you know, I think it was just one of those off days for both of us. And for the semi-qualifying pairs puzzles, you had to be in the top 50, and unfortunately that time would have gotten us 58th place, which therefore we wouldn't have qualified for the finals. And then we actually did the finals puzzle, which was a 1,000 piece puzzle. The semi-qualifying was a 500 piece. So the 1,000 piece was called speed puzzling, so it was basically a painting of a speed puzzling tournament, which I thought was kind of interesting. So you had some Inception type areas where the people who were doing the puzzle were doing the 1,000 piece puzzle you were doing, and so you kind of had some duplicate pieces going on. And we did that one in 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 16 seconds, which would have gotten us 97th place out of 100 if we had gotten to the finals. So I don't know where they came from, but there's a lot of fast puzzlers out there, I tell you that right now. And then me and Melinda, who is the one who lets me borrow all these puzzles, me and her did the other semi-qualifying puzzle called Furry Friends, and we did that in 37 minutes and 59 seconds, which is actually faster than me and Christina's time on the other one. But I think it was an easier puzzle. And we would have also gotten 58th place on that, and therefore would not have qualified for finals either. So it was like maybe I was just missing it by a little bit. Like my semi-qualifying puzzle for the Paris Gradient, I missed it by a little bit. So there is a very possibility that I could not make it to the finals. Christina and I, if we go to Worlds, could not make it to the finals. So we really got to up our game a little bit. So yeah, that wraps up my World Series. Hopefully, when I actually go to Worlds, it'll be a much better result than when I do in the comfort of my own home here. I do like the idea of the puzzle, though. Puzzle community. Everybody's coming together, putting puzzles together. That is what makes speed puzzling so much fun. Friends, competition, and just enjoying puzzles. Well, as for this puzzle, we did not smash it, unfortunately. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.